Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Best Perspective. I am, of course, Stefan Rapazzo alongside Noah Brinkworth, and we're going to bring you all the action, what's happening around the world of Ultimate, and of course, our special guest today, Nasser Mbae Vogel, one of the all-time legends of the game. Noah, how you doing today?
I am chilly, Steph. We just got back from CFC and it was beautiful weather, 20 to 25 degrees, warm and sunny most of the time. A couple spots of rain, which caused some problems we'll talk about, but I got back on the flight to London and I landed and it was 2 degrees. So I'm wrapped up
Yuck.
warm. I've got blankets on, and I'm wishing I was in Lanzarote. How was CFC for you, Steph?
The greatest tournament in the world. It's the most wonderful time. That's what lead up to CFC. That song was in my head. This is the most wonderful time of the year. We're leaving mainland Europe. We're going to beautiful tropical coastal African mid-Atlantic Canary Island Lanzarote, and we're gonna play in this crazy party tournament. It is a party tournament. You cannot paint it any other way. That is peppered with elite ultimate players. Not necessarily elite ultimate teams. They are the teams hold together well, but they're mostly hey, let's get a group of friends together and play together for Lanzarote. Some of these teams have done it year after year for CFC only. And it does not disappoint. It is so awesome. The weather, it's mid-20s every day. We did see some crazy weather, and I guess that's probably a good place to start because I will sing the praises of CSC and Lanzarote. But there was a good 2 or 3 hours of day one where I was dry retching, and I guess this all starts with its title, Sewage Volcano.
Sewage Volcano was one of the craziest moments I've witnessed at a Frisbee tournament. A few crazy things happened at CFC and not just on the pitch. So Lanzarote isn't really set up for much rain to happen. Their infrastructure, and
it's a very arid volcanic island.
When you drive around as well, there's no grassland, there's no farmyard. If anything's green and growing, it's deliberate, right? It is a hot, dry place. So it's surprising for it to get rain. And we're filming a game and I'm smelling some pretty bad smell, some sewagey smell.
It hammered down rain for 2 hours prior, hammered down.
It was heavy. It was heavy rain, which is surprising to everyone. Just after that rain was kind of petering off, it started getting a little bit sewagey smell, which I don't really think much of. I don't know, something's burst, but miles away. And then I look to my right, and there's sewage streaming down the side from up where the boardwalk is, down towards the edge of the beach where our streaming setup is. ULTI.TV team was sitting in the tent right behind where the sewage was streaming down, and Steph runs over to me. He tells me, "No, we've got to stop streaming right now." And this tiny stream of sewage water, which was pretty bad, turns to massive gush of sewage water, and ULTI.TV team scrambling, getting all of our stuff out of the tent. I think all of our stuff we managed to get out. Then I'm wading
relatively unscathed.
We lost a jacket or two, but I'm then scrambling in the sewage to try and pull out tables of all of our stuff off, cut all of our cable ties and get all of our stuff, move the massive camera, which is 20 feet tall, out of all the sewage in time. It was a crazy operation. And then there were probably all the games stopped, obviously, because it was what?
No, they didn't. Games did not stop.
Wait, well, I mean, the nearest game stopped.
Yeah, but the game finished. I think they just delayed the next round a small bit. That was all that happened. And it was because of the Swiss draw. Nothing, the games didn't really miss a beat. There was an extra half hour there. And in that half hour, they were everybody, please help us. And there's a few things I can add here. Firstly, this is a good time to go back and watch that last game that got cut short. Maybe Noah might be able to cut it in and get my last bits of commentary where I was like,
Yeah, I'll put
this
it
is
in
an
right
emergency. We got to stop. There's a sewage volcano. Like, I still remember Arvids was sitting at the very back of the tent, and we were all like sniffing. And then he's like, he put his hand down. I think it might have touched his hand. He's like, it's coming in. And like, you know, like this water just breached, and everybody, you know, the shrill shrieking. I still hear Aurora Leshnick in my brain, like, like screaming her brains out, like, because this sludge was coming in, and we're picking up tables and picking up bags and running them out, like, you know, trying to tiptoe around this shit. Eventually I was barefoot in the fucking shit. It was madness. And so what else I'm hoping I was going to be able to cut in here is some of the videos of how intense this was. Like, there was hundreds of people digging with Frisbees a trench that went 400 meters, like 100 meters, turned a corner, turned it into a bunch of veins and streams, like, to try and get this to dissipate and get it out of there. It was madness. But at the end of the day, something so disgusting. I mean, I'm talking every time I went back to the source, which was our streaming area, was exactly where the source was.
It couldn't have been any closer.
No, it could not have been any closer to where we were streaming. Every time I kind of left and went back, I came back and I was like, oh, God, this is fucking horrible. Noah had a little cut on his hand. He thought he was going to get diphtheria. He's like, Steph, get me some soap, please. Like, I don't want to lose my finger. I'm like, all right, give me a second. I'm going to get you some fucking soap. But it was madness. And all this, disgusting. It was a nice experience. It brought people together. Like, that's so weird to say, but it was.
Yeah, it was crazy. I've definitely, you've already seen the picture that Amelia Durbin's put on our little group chat of just an array of beachgoers, you know, kind of directing this stream through the pitches towards the sea. In the end, it kind of didn't really get it to the sea. It kind of just sunk into the ground, and then the day after, some guys from the city kind of like got all of the sewagey stuff out of the sand, which is very nice to see. Obviously nicer of the city if the sewage pipes didn't burst, but hey ho, like, it did great, as you said, for like a really coming together moment. And then we had a beautiful party afterwards, and we got coached off to some Mexican restaurant, and then they had barbecue at the back as well, like, for everyone to eat, and then silent disco in this massive, I don't even know like what to call it.
Where the hell were
we?
Town
hall. Like,
it was like a convention center, and it was like weird, like very like, you know, high ceilings, bright lights for the bulk of dinner, and then when they started handing out the silent disco, it was like, okay, it's kind of like super light, and then they opened up. Everybody's got to go inside. There's a black box room opening up, and it was like, black box room, and that was exactly what it was. A room in the back, no lights, a big room. Hundreds of people jammed into this room. You couldn't see 2 feet in front of you, and silent disco went off. It was a wild, wild party. That was day one party. That was Friday night party, because there was a welcome party as well. There's 4 parties, 3 or 4 parties at CFC. They all meld together. The ultimate.
I think that was the best. That was
that was
I partied the most that night. It was a great night. And
50 Shades of Green.
Yeah,
that was ULTI.TV's team was 50 Shades of Green.
You can cut in that photo as well. I'm giving myself a lot of work this episode, but we can put that photo in of our green outfits.
We had themes for every night, every party did ULTI.TV. We're very organized like that. But let's go to the ultimate. The ultimate was effing great. Swiss draw, the first time they've ever gone Swiss draw. Our first game, we had what I thought was going to be an easy win against Zakaraka Abes or something like that, the French Hex team. But they fought pretty hard. If that was like one of the lower bracket teams. And then like our next game was Spoon. We ended up getting like 5th, I think. And then it was like boom, 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 boom. Like hard game, hard game, hard game. We played Jogo Bonito. We played
El Contrato.
Yeah, El Contrato. We didn't play Bufa, did we? No, we didn't play Bufa. No. We didn't play Fresh Lobster either. But Yeah, it was nonstop action. I didn't play that much because we had to win our games. Noah got to play one single point. It was one only game that he wasn't full systems go on filming. Had a beautiful completion. Is the only person on the team with 100% completion percentage.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Steph. I think there's a certain Benji Reese who's been making that
yes,
claim.
sorry. Benji Reese does have 100% completion percentage.
He
as
threw
well.
a few more passes than me, but not many more.
My stat line, everybody talked about a lot. I probably had 5 turnovers, but I had 4 positive stats as well. I had some embarrassing turnovers though. The drop. We won't talk about it. It wasn't streamed. But yeah, so we were cruising. El Contrato was cruising. The last night party, I mean, it was in these like bocce pits, and the German Jogo Bonito plays their funky ball, and I was, facilitating the feats of strength games, and like, oh man, I got loose. I was screaming all night. I could not speak on Sunday morning. If you watched the stream, the ghost of Stefan Rapazza was there. I could not talk to my team. I felt really bad. Like we had lots of excuses by the end because we did not win the tournament. But I think we lost in entertaining fashion as far as that goes. Like our game in the semi against Jogo Bonito, the 7 turnover universe point victory. Go back and watch that. Wildly entertaining game. Paul Herkin's business was really, really good in that game for Jogo. And then in the final, El Contrato showed up. They wanted revenge. There were some dicey moments. Spiegel right before the game, he's like, hey, rules are regular beach rules for this one. I was like, what does that mean? Like, we can have, plus 1 no matter what the difference is. And he's like, yeah, basically. And I couldn't talk. I could not speak to him. So I was like calling other people over, like, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there's a few moments. One halftime was announced incorrectly. And then when it happened correctly, we're like, they just said it. Like, they just said it on the loudspeaker. We already had halftime. Because when we had it, it was beneficial for us because nothing changed. We stayed on defense after we scored. And when it was meant to be, we just got scored on. And we were meant to be playing O, and they were like, no, you guys are on D again now. And I was like, no. They've just had this announcement. There was a timeout at the very end, and we're like, you can't take a timeout in the last 5 minutes. Yeah, it's beach rules. It's not. And I was like, oh, this too. All right. I did agree to this. And I didn't put up and then, of course, there was the universe point. You got to go watch it. Let us know what you think, foul or not. I'll say that. It was that close. I don't think I'm upset by any of these things. I thought it was a super entertaining, super high-spirited the final. And when you get like that and you can get, I'm saying it, an Aurora Leshnik layout that's that good on Marta Ortiz's hip, and she called the foul. I think she justified. There was some contact. I thought Aurora took a nice line around and did everything she could. But, all right, that's the way it goes. I think it's a fair call. I don't think any which way I really hotly contest it, but you can see it both ways. And so congratulations to them. And then I'm just going to keep yammering on because I'm a good yammerer. But how about and this is when Noah was in full cleanup mode, and Noah was an awesome professional. He did a great job, got his shit done, and took care of business when everybody was getting loose. But at the end of CFC, the Sunday night party, just when you think the party's over, everybody's going to go home. No, they dish out. They do a presentation for every team. Every team gets a bottle of honey rum, ron miel. Every team empties their bottle of honey rum into each other's mouths via each person goes on a knee and somebody pours it around into their mouths. And then a new party kicks off. And there was this, the passing of the guard or the passing of a baton, whatever, changing of the guard where La Peluca de Sosa So Sosa is one of the organizers, and the Peluca is his head, and they play Rage Against the Machine, killing in the name of I'm not gonna do fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. But they sing Ba le Peluca de Sosa, and they pass this giant wig from dad to kid who was like, man, I mean, this explanation does no justice. It was wild. It was wild. There was like a mosh pit on the beach. It was there's like a 12-year-old kid getting body surfed around. Man, it was and I'd have to go back over and see Noah, and he'd give me like 2 or 3 jobs. I'd be like, okay, shit, I'll do it. And then I'm slipping back over the party.
None of these things totally make sense, and that's because
I mean, Oscar's dance.
Really have to make
sense. Oscar's dance. No.
Oscar's a fantastic dance. I wasn't like miles away, Steph. Like I was watching it, but I wanted to go home. So I mean,
yeah. And you had work to do. You got the stream out. It was our first time streaming. I thought we did a pretty damn good job. Big props to Noah and the job he did, like amidst all this partying, amidst a sewage volcano.
There was certainly challenges at that weekend that were new challenges or particularly more challenges. But that's not saying anything bad about the CFC organizers. 1, they were lovely people. 2, they gave us exactly what we needed to make it done. And 3, they played really, really well in the final and took the crown of ULTI.TV. And you can say what you want about that final, but I think the team that lived up more to their potential was El Contrato, and they played the better game.
They did.
Sebastian Spiegel is the best thrower I've ever seen on the beach surface. He might be the best player I've ever seen on the beach surface. Like, the way that man can take 15 yards on with breakside throws is unbelievable. Second to none, Steph.
He's
the final thing I want to
axe.
Yeah. He's incredible. And the final thing I want to highlight about CFC and why I loved it so much is the time we got to spend with all the ULTI.TV All-Stars and all of our goons like Luna and Liam and Benji and yourself, Steph. All of our new friends like Aurora and Arvid and Laura and Amelia and Connor and
Nas and
there's
Nikki
no way I
and
can
Christina
possibly...
and Irena. Like, it is like our last party night, the 50 Shades of Green night. We had about 2 hours. Oh no, it was both nights. There were 2 nights. We had like a couple hours. Just like the young kids were inside Raven, Camille Blanc, Elliot Bonnet,
Maya
Scazzieri.
Maya Kozak.
Yeah, Maya Kozak. They were all boom, 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 boom. And the rest of the crew, about 15 of us, 10, 12, 15 of us were outside and just trading pretty epic stories. Like, these are like, some of the best players in the world. They all were kind of like very knowingly like, I'm not going to tell a shit story right now after, Sam Murphy just dropped a gem and Nas just dropped a gem. And like, it was just like story after story. Like, everybody was like, and they were all for ultimate stories. And it was really cool. And like, I think what you said, like, yeah, El Contrato was the best. We were the best collection of players there. They nailed it. They beat us. We had better games of team ultimate than we did in the final. We weren't at our best, partially hungover, partially great opponent. But man, I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. Like, it was so nice to kind of, and what was most rewarding for me, somebody who puts teams like this together, is how many people were so thankful for the opportunity to play with these people they've only ever played against, kind of things. Like, like, Steph, thank you so much. Like, this is such a great idea. This is such a nice team. Like, I would never have a chance to play with one of, like, Nikki Priyan, 35-year-old legend, has been around the block, but had not played with one single person on this team before in any context. Like, that's crazy. And she was, she's probably one of the most grateful to get an opportunity like this. But yeah, it's super
partier cool. By quite a way.
Yeah, Priyan, Nas, and Smurf were up till 7 a.m. the night before semis. So yeah, I think we won the party. I mean, the only team that might stand a swinging chance is Jogo, who we played after that morning. So we both had to show up, and we went toe to toe. But yeah, ULTI.TV was definitely not pulling punches at the party. We were trying to win everything. And I think if we lost on Universe Point, the ultimate final, we won on Universe Point, the party final. I'm saying it. You heard it here first.
And you know what, Steph? We had all of these fantastic players, all these fantastic stories. I don't think there's any player with any better stories than Nas. And I have to say, I got so much love from Nas, and I'm sure that we're going to hear some of his best stories in this interview segment now.
Yeah, so without further ado, here comes the man, the myth, the legend, Nasser Mbae Vogel. And here he is now, Mr. Nasser Mbae Vogel. Nas, as he's known. Nas, how you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
nice.
you for having me here.
Bloody pleasure to have you. Where are you? You're at home, are you?
Yeah, I'm at home, living
Which
close
is
to
where?
Geneva.
Geneva.
So it's a small town close to Geneva in the French side. So yeah, close to the border.
Yeah, a little border hop in your. I've been. I had the pleasure of going to visit Nas. He's got a beautiful place, snuggled in. He's got kind of mountains on all sides. When you get outside, it's a beautiful place over there.
Yeah.
So Nas, we're gonna get into everything about your life in Ultimate, and there's a lot. When did you start playing? What year did you find Ultimate?
I find it 1995.
1995, and
Yeah, and I
where?
stopped.
Let's talk a
I,
little bit right at the beginning about where were you? How did this all start?
so I was living in Paris, north in Paris. Um, I had a friend who discovered like Frisbee during the summer camp, and he had a older brother too. And my brother, or first my older brother, was friend with him too. So it was a bunch of guys who were like younger brothers, and we have like older brothers. They started to play Frisbee, 95, 94 maybe, and me and my friend Adrien Solier, we were in the same high school with some friend there, and we went to one practice, and we used to play soccer before that, a lot of soccer. We were like the club team, and we decided to quit football and just play, start playing Ultimate. So 96 was my first time, like I really touched the disc most, like every day.
Wow. And you were pretty ready to quit soccer within your first year of playing Ultimate. You're like, yeah, I love
Yeah,
this.
yeah. My dream was like to be a pro, and like I was goalkeeper. So at some point, like school was not my favorite thing when I was younger, and I was like more dedicated about like being a professional soccer player. And yeah, it was a little bit too late. I think the area where we were living, it was always like some fight during the game, some stuff like that, and I was tired about it. So when I find out like Ultimate is a sport like with no referee, we were like, all my friends, we were like a little bit surprised like to see no referee on the field, but we really liked it, and we stopped like to play together during the high school during break time.
Nice. So, like high school crew, 94, 95, 96, this area. Was this Ultimate Vibration or was this before Ultimate Vibration?
So Ultimate Vibration was played like I would say 96 or 95, maybe 95 probably. Uh, with my brother and some other friends, created a team. They started to play indoor, only indoor, so it was like very short squad. And like 96, we joined the club with all my friends, and we decided to play with Ultimate Vibration. So we mostly play indoor, like probably for one season or two. I play mostly indoor. I never play outdoor.
Okay. And you guys played indoor. Did you just play against each other or were you pretty immediately like traveling
No,
to try and find competition?
no, I think Vibration were like the core of the Vibration play a lot of like tournaments like in Europe. And we decided to create like a team with the younger brothers and just like showing to the practice playing against the old guy. And like we did that for 2 or 3 years maybe. and it was fun. Because like it was always like a big battle between the old and the young brothers. Actually, we never beat them. Like we had a Christmas practice every year, and we do like a game between each other. And we never beat them. Like we never like had the chance to beat them. So it was always funny, like because we were like looking for this game for so many times, and every time we were like, okay, we are ready to beat them, and we never. So it was like pretty funny. I think it was like the beginning for me, like to understand like winning the game, how hard I fight to win the game. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
got to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win,
Oh
is
yeah,
what they say. But
definitely. Yeah.
I'll say my beginning was quite similar. But there was about 8 pairs of brothers that were always playing, and it wasn't always, but we would always have special games that were quite similar. But Nas, so you play for a few years, internal vibration. You guys, figured out the rules on your own, or like, was there
No,
somebody who kind of knew, or
yeah,
did you kind of, how
no,
did you work it out?
we had like a guy on the team like we knew the rules. He was involved in the federation's rules, so we knew like every rules. It was tough at the beginning because we were like kind of the bad boys in the French area, because like we were like coming from nowhere, trying to win every tournament, in France, in the French federation. And I think in 95, probably 95, not 99, 99, sorry, 99, me and my friend Adrien, we joined Ultimate Vibration to go for the national outdoor. It was
Okay.
my first like big tournament there, and Isno Good was the best team on this time. Like they already won like indoor and outdoor like for seven years, and we beat Isno in the finals. So it was like definitely one of my best moments. And this time, like beating like the French champions for so many years, like and having the chance to play with my friends for a long time, and winning the tournament was like crazy.
Yeah, right. So this is your first national championship. Would have been
Yeah,
99 beating Isno
yeah,
with Ultimate Vibration.
yeah, yeah.
And one of the first tournaments you said for big tournament. Like, do you remember any of the small tournaments in your beginning days, or were they like really, really kind of small things?
Yeah, it was kind of a small thing. It was mostly like after that, like we starting like to find the confidence, like we can win indoor. So after this moment where like we play indoor every season and we won the championship too. So we were like the new team in France to beat. So it was like Isno was like changing a little bit with the old guy decided to not play anymore, and it was like mostly Isno and Jackson back in the day facing each other for the title.
Nice. So I know that you've gone on, of course, we all know that you've gone on and played many, many years. How many French championships do you think you've won? Do you know?
Probably 10 or 11.
Okay. And with Ultimate Vibration
Yeah.
only?
No, the last one was with Isno.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then UK. So now we're going to start getting into a bit of how much you've been around. You played for Clapham.
Yeah, I played
So
Clapham for
you have
3 years.
a UK championship, at least one, maybe more.
Probably 3 or 4 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what years were you? What years were those when you were in Clapham?
So 2005, it was my last year with Vibration when we played the European Club in Rostock. So we ended up fourth in the tournament. And I have like two close friends on Clapham, Oli Benjamin and Matt Woods.
Okay.
They were like, because my English back in the day was like pretty bad, and Oli and Matt was speaking French pretty good. So after the tournament, I was talking with Oli and Matt, and they invite me to play with Clapham uh, for the nationals in 2005, and it was the beginning of my time with Clapham. So I played 3 years with Clapham, so I won 3 times national.
Yeah, nice. And what was that change like for you? Like, was it a big club difference? Like, Did you go to training camps? Did you just show up to tournaments? And like, I guess you're learning as well. Like, I guess it's the first time not with Ultimate Vibration. What did
Yeah, I think
Clapham teach you, kinda?
yeah, I think with vibration, it was the time for me to have a new chapter in my life of frisbee. I was winning everything in France, but in European scene, it was like more difficult to win something. And playing with Clapham was like a new step to be like a better player, to meet new teammates, new country also. And yeah, it was a big step because this time it was Rob Alton. He was an American guy from New York, who was the captain and coach of Clapham. And I think he was definitely the best mentor I have in the game for sure. Yeah, he was so intense on practice, on talking to the players. He was like one of the best I ever had for sure. And
And
yeah,
those
be with
years that
him like
you,
yeah,
sorry, go on, go on.
yeah, be with him like was definitely a new step for me like to be a better player.
Nice. So those years you won UK championships were part of the beginning of Clapham's 20 in a row, I guess.
Yeah,
But and you would you have won some European championships with Clapham as well
yeah,
in those years?
I think so. I think we were like facing Skogs. Like Skogs was the from Göteborg was like the best, also the best team in Europe. So it was always like Clapham and Skogs during the finals, and I think we beat them in 2007 probably. I would say I don't remember like the date. It was in Basel. We
Okay,
beat them, and was like yeah, a very intense game too. Yeah,
big win. Did you ever play Skogs?
yeah.
You
So
did also play a year for Skogs. Okay, when
yeah,
did you
yeah.
play Skogs?
So
See, I know a lot about you, and I know you well now. But this roadmap is crazy. When did you play Skogs?
yeah. So when I played Clapham, we had the chance to go in states for tournaments 2 times, and it was my first time with Clapham, like traveling in US, play US tournament, and yeah, it was also the best way for me to keep learning because my dream was like for sure to go in US and play in US, but and this time I was not ready, like physically or tactically, like I have like a lot of stuff to learn before that, and Clapham after like we beat Gold, they decide to be more focused on the world in Canada, like 2008, I think. And they were like not focused too much on the European scene, but more like on the national team. So I had like two friends on squad, Sebastian Thoron and Niklas Taylor,
Yep,
who were like,
legends.
yeah, Sebastian was definitely the best player on this time. And they asked me like, do you want to play with squad? And yeah, I said yeah, because I was like still like trying to keep learning and changing to Clapham and stuff, like to keep winning tournaments, keep learning how to win different system and different player was always my goal on this time.
Nice. So Skog, same thing. You played a couple European seasons with
Yeah,
them.
I played 2 years, uh, 8 and 9, 2009 and 2008 and 9, and I didn't play the European 2009 because I was injured on my knee,
Okay.
so I didn't play the rest of the season, but I played all the seasons except the European.
And in '08, you would have played Clapham in the final. Is that
No, I think this year, like Clapham was like on the year to building a new team, like new
okay?
player. I think it was the first time like I made Justin, and I think we played Fire of London during final.
Oh wow, Fire of London
Yeah,
back in their
yeah,
glory days.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So a couple years with Skogs. I think next you probably ended up with Fab for a little bit. Is that getting
I had next step was like going to the US. So I was
okay?
in touch with I had a good friend Adam Ziegelman playing with dogs back in the day.
Yep.
And we always like talking like, hey, we could play with dogs if you had a chance. So on '09, I had a chance to go in US, but I turned my ACL, so I didn't go.
All
So it took
right.
me like it took me a year to come back. And I talk again with Adam, and he said, yeah, Dog doesn't exist anymore. We changed with our inside. It's a new captain, new coach. Like you should try to talk to them. So I talked to the coach. I was not able to go to the tryout, so they asked me to play Worlds in Prague, 2010. So it was my first meeting with the team in Prague, and I had a pretty good tournament. We ended up like fifth, I think. We lost Hawkeye in the quarters.
Okay.
And after the tournament, I spent like a month at home, and I spent after that 4 months in the US playing with our inside.
Okay, so you did one whole season playing in Boston.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that when Nationals were in Sarasota still?
Yeah. So it was definitely my best season for sure, like the best experience of Frisbee too. I had a lot for sure, but like my first time was amazing. Like we ended up in the finals, but we lost against Revolver.
Right,
So
and that's
we
when
won, like,
Revolver was dominant.
Yeah.
That is Bo and Casey Rasmussen were there by
Yeah,
then.
Bo, Ashley Joy,
Yeah, Ashland. Yeah, right. Yeah, the mega
all the good
teams.
players, like, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so you did one full season playing open for Ironside in the U.S.
Yeah.
I know you've been back since. I know you played in Montreal. I know you did a mixed with Madison. But let's try and stay in order here. After that U.S. season, is that when you came back and went to Fab?
Yeah, I went to Fab. The funny story with Fab is we had like history between Fab and Ultimate Vibration. Like in the day, like I never beat Fab. Like we ended up in the finals or some tournament, but I never had the chance to beat them. And I had like bad moments sometimes with some players. So I always say I would never play with Fab, never. And I had the chance to play with Lawrence Stoffer and Barry and older guy from Fab at Paganello. We making the team like UTI was like a special team, like Clapham guy and Fat guy, and I started like to hang out with this guy. And at one day I was like, okay, I'm living in Switzerland. The best team in Switzerland is Fab, so if I want to keep going and keep playing at high level, I have to play with them. And I ended up to play with Fab for 4 seasons.
Yeah, right. And that was a pretty dominant time for Fab.
Yeah.
How was the? I mean, I imagine you won every Swiss championship in those years.
Yeah, when I was there, we won every time when I was playing, and the last European we won was 2011 against
Okay.
Clapham.
So you won all the Euros as well. So you won Swiss for sure. You won 4 in a row Europeans as well.
No, Fab won 2 times the Europeans.
Okay.
I didn't play the first time they won, but I played the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And you mentioned some of those names. Stauffer was like Odermatt. Was he still around back then? Was he?
Yeah. Dominique was there too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. And then at some stage you ended up over in Canada and you played Royal for the AUDL. And did you play Mephisto as well, or am I wrong?
No, I didn't play Mephisto. I played Goat before.
Yeah, you did play Goat. Okay, so is this after the Fab era?
Yeah, no, at the same time I was playing Fab in Europe and Goat during like the US season.
Okay.
So I knew John Astle and Enzio, and we always say like one day we have to play together, and we finally did in 2011. I played my first season with Goat. It was like definitely another like big tournament for us. Like we lost 7-wide in the quarters, I think.
Right.
And I play 11 and 12 with Goat.
And that's and did you move to Canada for that, or was it tournaments and training camps?
I went once for the regionals. I spent like probably a month in Toronto during the summer. I just practiced with the team, and I went to the regional also, regional and the national.
Right, and this is John Hassel and Andy Octoloni and Andy Parker, and was Tolley playing there at this time?
Tony was there too. With a lot of like European players too. Sebastian Furrow playing on the same team too.
All right. It did. Ben Ort went and played Goat not long
Yeah.
after that too, maybe a couple years after.
Yeah, a couple of years after for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Justin played goal also.
Yeah, right. Justin and Ben played the same season together. That's right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, and then so you played a couple years with Goat, and were those the same years you would do Royal, or was Royal kind of after those years?
No, Royal came after 2016, after London.
Okay.
I was in connection with some guys because I already played with some guys from Eriksson from Montreal.
Yeah.
And I knew I was in contact with Johnny D, who was in charge of the Royal, and we were like talking like, yeah, do you want to try to play IDL? And I say, yeah, why not? So it was a crazy year because I played London, and I went to Montreal, played one games, like say like 3 or 4 days in Montreal, come back in Europe, back the next week. So it was like pretty intense for my body, like to make sure like I'm able to play. But it was fun. I had a pretty good friend to play ADL. Then in 2017, I decided to move in Montreal to play, spend like 4 months, be there for the whole season. So I played the whole season there, and I came back in Europe for the summer because was the birth of my daughter.
Okay.
So I just came back in Europe, like stay with the family there, and come back for the regional for the playoff game against DC. And then I really enjoyed my time in Montreal, and I was like probably like try to move there and maybe spend like some time in Montreal. So we decided to move in Montreal with the family.
Yeah, you moved to Montreal for a little while.
Yeah, we moved to Montreal with the family. Yeah,
for a year or more.
Yeah, it was just a season.
Okay.
Season. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't even know that. Crazy. So your daughter's born. You moved to Montreal. You did one more season. And that year, did you play Goat for club, or did you just do AUDL?
No, I just play with Mockingbird for it's a Montreal team. Yeah.
Okay.
Mockingbird. We went to regional, Mockingbird. Yeah.
Okay.
We went to regional, but we didn't get the spot to play as well.
Okay, sweet. And so, would you say this is maybe the beginning of your mixed era? Because really, up until now, you were pretty focused on open, but we know now you've definitely been really good at mixed as well in your last at least 5-6 years, maybe.
Yeah, but after like Montreal, we were like playing New York in IDL, and we had like two guys living from the States playing with Montreal, Ben Katz and Jordan was like the two player, and Christian Foster was there too. And I was like a good friend, was close friend to Ben Katz. And during the pandemic, like we didn't have like any season. And after like the pandemic, like I was talking with Ben, just like say how you guys doing, how is the life in Europe after the pandemic, and he said, yeah, we have come back to the field, we're playing with umpire, and I said, oh, I should come to play, and it was like a joke at the beginning, and he said, yeah, why not? Just try to come in US and play with us. So I start to talk with the manager of umpire, like for the possibility to go in New York and play with them. And he said, like, if you can move in Europe, like, for the rest of the season, like, yeah, you can come. So it was, like, pretty crazy to go in US during, like, after the pandemic, because, yeah, there had to be, like, people living in Europe, like, was not able to travel in US. But I found, like, a trick to go there. So I went to Mexico, spent, like, 15 days in Mexico in a hotel. So I didn't go out. I spent like 15 days in the hotel just like to stay outside and don't get COVID. And with that, you were able to travel in the US. So yeah, it was like pretty funny. Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah,
you found a way. You moved to New York, and then so you
yeah,
clocked in another stamp on your ultimate passport, New York Empire.
yeah,
You played a season with them. Did you win a
yeah.
title that year? Or no.
No, we lost the final against Ryder, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Rally Flyers.
Uh,
Okay.
and I played pony this year too.
Okay. All right. And was Mickle? That's a Jimmy Mickle year. He's
No,
playing
it
by
was
them or no?
no, it was just after like Mikkel moved in the
Okay, so he
Mikkel
was
and
still
Bo
playing
moved. Yeah,
Bravo or whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. And not to say that you were done with Open. I mean, I was your coach when you played Open for another World Championship in 2022. But you started playing a bit more mixed after that. Then I guess.
Yeah.
So because like, uh, you know, I go back to like I met you officially in 2021 at Madrid,
Yeah.
and it was like I think Francois Zubir's like Nas maybe wants to play Isno depending on some things. I was like, we mean maybe, let's get him to play.
Yeah.
And so I went over and introduced myself to you. I was like, hey, I'm Stef, blah, blah. You know, we knew who each other were. And I was like, okay, well, I hear you want to play Isno. Let's do this, Nas. And it was like, okay, slowly, we start talking. But I know that, there was some connections that were like, we don't know because of the 2019 France Open year. Is that right? Like, yeah, that was
Yeah.
like a bad campaign, I guess, for France. And you guys maybe tell us a bit about that campaign, I guess, and kind of how a bad season went down for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was tough because like we had like some good players. Like we definitely didn't have the team to win the European with the French, but we have like decent players to do something. And I think the campaign, like with the coaching staff and with the players, with a lot of complaints, it was not the best. Yeah, even like we tried to do our best to show up on the field and be like very focused on every game. It was like pretty hard, like to have having a good result. And I always like had like trouble when I was playing with the French national team in Open. I never had like very good success. I played 2 years only like with the French Open team. I played two campaigns and my first time was like 2016 and my second time was like 2018.
Mm.
And I never like really enjoyed that. So I think with history with some players, like, I didn't know like if I'm gonna quit with Isno on this time because I played with Isno the same year, like of 2016 maybe or 17, and same was like I was not in the same page. I have like a different like culture mentality of Frisbee, and I was not very in the same page. It was like always hard for me to come back and play in a French region because like yeah, I didn't see the Frisbee as the same like in US or like in the rest of the world. So it was always tough for me. But yeah, I played because I love to play, and I did my job. But it was not enough. So I was looking to go in worlds and play clubs for sure. I didn't want to go to play with another like country again. So Isno was definitely the best case
Fit.
for me. Yeah. And talking with you, I for sure like at the beginning of the season, like making some objective for me, like to be ready for the team was like something I really like and enjoy to do that. So I was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
everything
well,
like
I'm glad I did it. It worked out for us. There was a pretty fun season. We did it. Anyway, we get a couple exciting tournaments. A win at Tom's
yeah,
and 11th overall for a French team at clubs was pretty good. We had some big games. I mean, two universe point losses we had that could
yeah,
have put us at least into the top 8. And one of them in Lanzarote last week, we were talking about the Mephisto game. And if you really want the details, we'll tell you when you got to have a beer with Nas and I. to get the real details on what
The
happened
real,
in that
the
game.
real story, the real one, because there's a lot of people like talking bad on this story,
Oh
and
shit, it was
yeah,
crazy. I'll
yeah,
say it was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
But it kind of brings me to like the physicality in Ultimate, because that game was a game where, yeah, we were, and it was awesome because it was like French Canadian and French, and like I'm coaching in English, and so I do my best to speak a bit of French here and there. And then as soon as everything went crazy, there's just everybody screaming at French at each other. It's like, holy shit, this is intense.
yeah.
But yeah, physicality. Let's wipe that game aside for now, and again, you can come find Nas and I, and maybe we'll get it. But the physicality of the game, I want to talk about like back then compared to now. Like back in the day when you started, was it like was the game different? And also, you're probably one of the best people to know, like US North American Ultimate versus kind of like world and European Ultimate. Like, how can you kind of explain the difference in physicality in those regards? Like, maybe start with like back in the
Yeah.
day compared to now.
I think my first like tournament I went there, like I didn't play, was like the World in Melbourne, like 2001 maybe. It was my first time I saw like US team. Like it was dog represented the US, and I remember like watching every game of the US, and one guy, especially Fortunate Miller,
Mm-hmm.
a legend player, and he was like fast, good throw, super athletic, and I was like 19 or 20, and I was like so skinny. Never went to the gym before that, just running, because I have like some genetic athleticism, like where like I didn't feel like I need to go to the gym and do some weight stuff. And I started to realize like I need to do something like to be better, because like back in there, like for sure, like in vibration, we never went to the gym, like we never go there. We were always like doing track field and stuff like that, but never like seriously. And when I played with Clapham and I went to the US my first time, I had to face uh, physicality, like more than about like touching body, all the stuff like we don't like it too much in Europe. It was like something part of the game in US for sure. And I get like I had a pretty good tournament in the US for sure, but I was missing something. So I remember like talking with my wife Simone. She introduced me to the gym. Like my first gym was in Geneva, and I do like some stuff, and I started to enjoying that, because I feel like I need to do that to make sure like my body is ready on different stuff. But I never like we never had like a workout or something, like a program like to get in shape or something. So it was like more like individual players who know something, try to teach you something, but never like very specifically. So I think what's like the big difference between now and in back in the day, where like we didn't have like coach or physical coach or trainer or whatever. We have like just ourselves, like try to improve by ourselves. But right now there's a lot of like trainers that can give you some advice, can coach you. So it was a very big difference between like Europe and States. And I think right now most of the team, like the top team, like they are following the programs, they are like very in shape, but we are still missing something. Uh, like more like how we understand the game, how we play different strategy, different like top team, how we adapt. I think we are still missing that in Europe, and this is why we can't beat them more like
I
we
still
love to
remember
do.
Tim Shock saying like everybody thinks it's because the U.S. contact more. We have more contact in our game, and maybe it's true, but the reality is it's the rest of the world wants our strategy. We have the best strategy still, and Tim, he'll get going.
Yeah,
But I think he's right. Like I was like, shit, yeah, you guys like they just have so many more people playing and studying. and totally immersed. I mean, they've got backlogs and dictionaries of kind of different ways to play.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like checking on Instagram today. The coach of Mooncatcher like did like an article about like Mooncatcher, how they grow up and stuff. And he spent a lot of time like watching game, trying to understand like different side, different like philosophy and playing. And I think we are still missing something about it, right? To be in the top and stay in the top for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because like right now we were like talking about physicality in the past, but it's not the case anymore. Like because people are in shape, are like big, or like can run a lot and stuff. But we are missing like more like strategic preparation.
So speaking of strategic, we're gonna move in just a second because I know you've got your future plans are slightly different than what you've been doing. But before we get into what's happening for you next year, we didn't get to quite the end of your accolades. Am I right to say that maybe your two biggest championships have come in the last 3 years or 2 years? You finally won a European championship with France. You stopped playing
Mhm.
open. You played mixed, and you got a national gold medal in Europe. And then you went to US, and this was the craziest one because nobody expected it. You went and won a world championship beach mixed in Huntington Beach. And I mean, after 30 years of winning club championships in Sweden, Switzerland, England, a bunch of European club championships, a great resume is what I'm saying. Are these two more special because they're national and maybe because you waited longer for them?
Uh, I would say yes. I won I won a lot of tournaments in Europe with open on the open division. But to be honest, I was just like at some period of my career, I was like not winning anything. I was like very close to win with Lakota when I was playing with them, but I knew like my better chance to win something because like I love winning. Like I love winning. Like you know me, like losing is like painful on me.
I
And I
know.
was like, yeah, the only way for me to win something and was the mixed division. Yeah, for sure. So I decided like after like coaching the world game with Olivier and Christophe, I was talking with them like, do you want to be coach with the next team too? I say no, I want to be a player. So I made my focus on the national team and on the mixed division to make sure I can reach my goal. And definitely like winning the European with the French was a great moment for me for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you were. I mean, you hit the ground. That was a great team. You guys had an awesome team. You were a big part of the O line. You didn't just play on a team as kind of the old guy who just play. You know, you were a big contributor, especially in the final. You had an incredible final of that game. And then what about on the beach to win that world championship? Like nobody saw that coming. Did you guys believe that you could win the tournament at the beginning, or
No,
was it a one game
no.
at a time until you believed
I
it?
mean, like for me, I don't know about the rest of the players, but when I went there, my goal was like to be in the top three. Top three was like something possible for sure. But uh, after like losing Germany in the pool game, we had like a very big discussion with all the players. Just say, hey, we are not in vacation. LA is great, nice place to play frisbee, but I think we have something to do here. And we started like to find the confidence about like our skills or the way like we move on the beach because like French players move pretty well on the beach too. And we play US in a pool game. We lost by two. And I remember like talking with the coach of DC, Daryl Gary Stanley or something. I don't remember his name. We were like talking on the sideline and I asked him like, what do you think about like the French, how we can improve against US? And he say something to me like was like stick in my mind, like you have like a couple of things to change during the game, but nothing to change because they already beat you. So if you can manage to change like some stuff, you definitely have a chance to win. So it was like very stick in my mind, and I just like every night like to say to make the players like remember like the speech doing before the game, like saying like we made mistakes during the game. It was a very close game. We had no chance, but now if we can give our best and just not making stupid mistakes, we have a big chance to win. And I think during this game we had like only 2 turnovers,
Yep, one of the
and
cleanest games. Right now,
yeah,
everybody's talking about Rhino, what they did at US, but that's basically what you guys did at World Championships in that semifinal.
yeah. And after winning the US, everyone went crazy, like on the social media, you were like talking to us. But I was happy. I was super happy. But we still had one game to play and win in the tournament. So, and it was not against an easy team. Like Spain was super strong team too.
And they got an
So
early break against you too.
yeah,
They had the lead in the start.
but we had like a strategy too. We knew like if we can like make them running a lot, they're gonna make mistakes for sure. So we were like ready. Everyone was super ready like to run hard in defense to make sure like they're gonna make some turn and stuff. So if we have a chance to turn the disc, we have to score, and we did it pretty well.
Yeah, you guys nailed it. It was awesome. I think the whole world was watching that when I think Elliot Bonnet got his trip
Yeah,
to truck stop because of that tournament, that game. And Nas got his long awaited. It's crazy. You played for 30 years and you get a championship and you play
yeah,
with somebody like Camille Blanc, who's
yeah,
you've been playing longer than she's been alive, and she gets one.
yeah. She,
I got a
she could
world
be my daughter.
championship.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
It'd be yeah, she could be my daughter.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
we
And
we make
she's
a joke a
awesome.
lot, and yeah, she's awesome. She's a very great player and a nice player too.
Yeah, yeah, super
Great
super
person.
human
Yeah,
being.
yeah.
Awesome. So now you for World Games, you were part of the selection, or were you part of the coaching staff? What was your job there?
No, the
The
first
last
one,
one in
the
Birmingham. In
last one.
Birmingham.
I was part of the selection and helping them like for some strategic stuff like watching games, making videos, talking to the players with small group. Okay, we have a moment we can talk about like what we did in the practice, show them to the video and talk like more easy. And I really enjoyed that. It was like I coached some team, I coached some juniors, I coached some team in Canada also. But like this first step, like as a coach, as an assistant coach, but on a specific topic, was something like I really enjoyed.
Nice. And so you've got years of experience. You've had your first a big assistant coach role for the World Games. You've done some junior coaching. Now, what's next? What do you got next year? Let's tell everybody.
I'm stopping playing elite division. Yeah, I think it's the time like to leave the field on the elite because like I'm still loving going to the gym, going to the track, doing my stuff, playing track. I'm gonna keep going doing that, but I'm gonna play more masters for sure and beach and in elite for sure. I'm gonna try to make the team for the world in November
Yep.
and more coaching, coaching in La Haute BFG
Okay, so
next season.
BFT La Fota, that's the big news, I guess.
Yeah,
And how
yeah.
did that happen? Was it a call from Davide or something else?
No, and David was not involved. It was Gasperini and Lati who reached out to me, and we talked a little bit about like the idea of the coaching, about like spending time with the team there because I will not be there for the weekly practice. I will go there for the tryout for the weekend before like a big tournament. I will try to do my best to be there the most as possible. But yeah, it's a new chapter, a new challenge I'm looking for sure. I'm pretty excited to coach them and to help them like to keep being getting better and better because
Yeah.
it's a very good team. So yeah, I hope
Very
we
good
can
team.
help them,
Was
like,
Gasperini and Laffy they were both on the team when you played La Foot in
yeah,
2018. So
yeah,
they're
yeah. So
teammates. They were the
yeah,
young guys back then. Now they're the veterans.
the veterans. Yeah.
And will you have a coaching staff, or will it be just Nas? Rather, you're going to run the show
No, it's gonna
yourself.
be someone in the city gonna be there like for the weekend, for the week practice. It's gonna be the same guy from last year from Australia. Gonna be there too. So yeah, it's gonna be. We're gonna try to figure out how we're gonna manage that. For sure, I would like to be in Italy and be there with the team. I think it's the best. But with my work, my life in here, I can do that. But we're gonna figure out. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Nas, the coach, is the next chapter. Looking forward to that, Nas. And I'm happy to hear you're still playing beach. You're still going to play CFC next year. We got to win that next year.
Yeah, we're gonna win that. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Nas, I can ask you a couple. So I think you did say it a little bit, but what year was prime Nas? What is the best? What year was you as the best player that you'd learned enough? You hadn't started getting a little bit old yet. Like, what is the best year of Nas if you could like take that and put it on any team and make it, you'd make any team in the world prime Nas. But what year do you think that was?
Ironside.
Your Ironside year.
2010. Yeah.
So that would have made you, that's 14 years ago. So that would have made you 32 years old.
30, yeah, 32. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was, understand the game. I mean, like, practice with Ironside was intense. Like, every time, like, it was like, I never had the chance to see that again. Maybe it was funny. Funny was pretty the same. A little bit with goals too. But Ironside practice was like just crazy.
Next
it was
level.
Like hard, next level hard at every practice. And like, there's always like something I'm saying to myself, like you practice like you play. So we practice so hard, like, and every time when I went to the tournament, I knew I'm going to be ready for any situation because I play against probably the best player in US on this time. You have like Jeff Graham, a lot of like very good players. Rock Marquette was there. So when you have like this guy playing, it was like pretty intense. And I think the second one, I would say Empire probably. I play mostly in defense, so I was back playing D line. And trust me, like playing D-line in ADL is something like painful. Like you feel like you're tired like at every point.
Yeah.
But practicing with Jack Williams is another level too because he's very good and you learn so much practicing with him. And I really enjoy my time with Empire for sure also.
Nice. I've always said, again, for age-wise in comparison, not I don't play at your level, but I thought my best years were 32 and 33 years old as well. So for those young kids out there, keep going. There's more good ultimate left in your tanks.
Yeah, a lot coming for sure.
Okay, Nas. Let's stay in the open division.
Yeah.
The top 7 teammates you've ever played with. I guess like the best. Maybe not your favorite. Maybe not like the people you like the most, but like give me your top 7 teammates that you've had. And let's make a line of superstars, NAS teammates. I know there's a lot that you would have thousands of teammates in your head, I imagine. So
like in Europe, you mean like
all time, every team you played for. The Ironside teammates, Pony teammates, Isno teammates, Skogs teammates, best 7 guys you played with.
Yeah. So handler, I would say Lorenz Stauffer.
Okay, Stauffer.
Yeah. Sebastian
Sporong, the unit, the target. Again, one of the best receivers you'll ever see.
Yeah. Niklas Teller for sure.
Nick who?
Niklas Teller.
Okay, Teller, right? The Swede, the other thrower.
Justin Ford.
Justin Ford.
Steve Dugan from Condors, Bike Me Day.
Dugan from Condors, okay. You got two
John,
left.
yeah, it's tough. I will pick Rob Alton for the leader. Like, he can manage like a superstar player pretty easy.
Yeah.
So we say Rob Alton. And the last one, probably John Hassel.
John Hassel. He just won another world championship with Canada. He's a legend. He's one of the people I idolized first in the game. Good choice with Hassel. And that is amazing how many awesome players you've played with that aren't on that list. That's how good your list can be. Okay, some random questions, Nas. What's your favorite tournament in the world? What's the favorite tournament you've ever played?
Sarasota Nationals.
Okay, USAU National Championships when it was back in Sarasota, and that was for that was a while in Sarasota before it moved to San Diego. Your favorite club or team that you've played for?
Favorite club? I do a lot of club team. I would say Clapham and Fab in Europe, and in the US, the most fun I had and enjoy playing game Pony.
Pony, nice. Your favorite team to beat?
Wow. In French, I would say Jack.
Yeah,
I love to beat Jack.
Me too.
I have a lot of friends on this team, but it's always good to beat them. And in Europe, I would say beating Clapham was like something good.
Very difficult to do. We got to beat Clapham a couple times in the ISNO year, and that was very satisfying. Your favorite teammate connection? So maybe not, again, the best, but the player that you've had a season with or a time with that, like, you just, boom, things were just easy to play with that person.
Well, I'd say Lauren Stoker.
Stouffer?
Yeah.
Back in the day. We kind of discussed this. Favorite championship that you won was which is the we didn't entirely, so which is the sweetest championship that you have enjoyed?
Europeans.
Euros, the Euro in Limerick.
Yeah.
Kind of the first one with the French jersey on.
Yeah.
Nice. Favorite coach, Nas? You don't have to say me.
You're on my list for sure.
I know. I'll take it, but not me.
Yeah, Rob Alpin.
Rob Alpin.
Top one. Yeah.
Nice. And favorite young player to watch now?
Maybe Dan Demarais.
Dan Demarais? Yeah, he is a true star, up and coming.
Yeah. There's a lot of young players I love to watch, and I feel like keep learning stuff from them. I think one.
Yeah, he will be. I think I agree with you completely. He's going to be a great champion and leader in whatever level. I think he's going to go back to the U.S. next year and do some great things over there again. But he's. I like that choice.
I would say Steven best player I play a lot. I really love to play. Yeah, well, Lawrence and Joe White for sure. Joe White.
Yeah, I kind of thought you would say Joe White.
Yeah,
you guys
Joe. Sorry, Joe.
Because you guys had autumn instantly. Because the first tournament was Tom's, and you just started hucking to Joe. I mean, because we won, and then we had a really great game against Clapham in the semi, and we beat the half of La Faute in the final. But the game that nobody watched, that wasn't streamed, that was a huge win, was Mooncatchers in the day before. And I still remember that game. You and Joe were just bing, bing, bing every time. Is usually you to Joe, but sometimes the other way too. And you guys had a very easy connection that was awesome to watch and awesome to coach.
He's such a nice guy, and he's had like an injury right now. He's but he's coming back, so I'm pretty sure he will come back stronger. So
Yeah,
keep
I think
going,
so
Joe.
too. I'm hoping for good news. I haven't heard from him directly, but yeah, he had a tough knee
Yeah,
injury, so
it's getting better. Yeah, it's getting better. Yeah.
good. So Nas, you've got coaching coming up this year. You're gonna be checking in with La Fota. You've had a wonderful career. I want to just thank you for your time, for coming out here. Any shout outs or last words to your fans watching?
No, it just was a pleasure to talk with you and talk about Frisbee. And yeah, still gonna be involved, so on different like stuff. But yeah, thank you for inviting me here. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure.
my
Thank you.
absolute pleasure. You're going to see lots of Nas, as always, on ULTI.TV. This year, doing a bit more coaching, but you're going to see him on the field because I'm going to make him come play CFC by the end of the year. If nothing else, he'll still be doing that.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. The legend, one of the greatest players in the game, Nasser Mbae Vogel. Thank you so much once again. Me and Noah are going to keep going with some chat, but thanks, Nas. You're the best.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you to Nas once again. We're back with Noah, and we are going to tie up all our loose ends of the season. We've decided to do. We were talking a bit of superlatives, and we were like, okay, what about the best moments this year? And we said, okay, let's come up with 5 each and not tell each other, and we'll see if any of those match. And really, there is no parameters to the moments. It could be on European soil, American soil, Australian soil, caught on ULTI.TV cameras, ULTI World cameras, hearsay, whatever the hell you want. 5 of the best moments in Ultimate in 2024.
Steph, would you mind if I start? Because I've got probably the first chronological moment, I would say, unless we have the same moment, which may happen because we haven't got the same one.
I'm taking a guess. You can start, but is he going to indoors? I couldn't believe if he is. But anyways, Noah.
EUICC women's final. Top 5 moments of the year, Steph. I think the crowd, like, part of the reason why, one, it was a fantastic game, but what was kind of different about that is the indoor arena fully enclosed. The crowd just reverberates, so the sort of like arena atmosphere, the hype for that game was different to any other Ultimate game I've been at before. I've heard loud Ultimate games, but it really felt like trapped in there, and the pressure was high. The Ultimate was fantastic. We've talked about Vendela Victorson and the fantastic layout bid she made in the early part of the game. Sarah Yeklund made a fantastic layout bid for a goal. The Ultimate was like so good and so tight, so low turnover, so few turnovers. Went to Universe Point. I think everyone's seen it by now. Like a little bit of a switch opportunity. Maileno hits the back cone, throw goes up. She catches the disc, wins the game for Atletico. Kind of the villains winning, but I think that people were honestly through the course of the game. It's a 17-16 win, right? People really appreciated the quality of Ultimate that was on show. So that was the best game of indoors maybe ever played.
I think so too. I loved the angle we had on it. I loved the blue surface they were playing on. It really it was a great contrast to the play going on top. Atletico were the villains. They had the lowest spirit scores going into that game. But you're right, they did kind of turn the crowd and kind of won the crowd by the very, very end of the game. It was like, hey, they're not that bad. That was some beautiful Ultimate. Inka Vestman got selected to Super Team because of that game. No two ways about it. Loved it. I love your choice. Great choice to kick things off.
You said something, and I'm changing one of my ones. It's. I realized that I missed a very, very good moment from the year. Okay. Maybe you could argue that it's not.
Okay, is it my turn then, or you got anything else to say about indoor?
I've got nothing else to say about indoor. I want to say though that the people appreciated it. We got like over 10,000 views on that video of the final few moments.
Yeah,
so I think you've all probably watched it. But if you haven't, go check it out. Go watch it again. It's worth watching again.
For sure. I'm going to go almost inverse chronological order and take us to one of our most recent events, the WBUCC Open Final. I had the privilege of calling that, and I think I called one of the best games of my life because it was that good. I could not put a foot wrong. That game had, you think of the highlights in that game. That Spalholtz layout D is the third best play in that game. And that would be the best play in 100 games before it. And it was the third best in that game. Jet Set taking on Humila Swag on the sands of Portugal, Portimao, USA, their last chance to win a gold medal at this World Championship. The other two divisions did not go in their favor. Took an early lead, breaks back and forth. The Callahan to get them back level by Luca Tognetti. And then with time expiring, 2 more points were played after, but with time expiring from one end to the other, a huck out the back, the Heyman's Callahan, or the Heyman's greatest out the back, thrown back to Wouters, back to Heyman's, and I've never seen a crowd explode like that moment on the beach. It was just insanity. There's a lot of chat about whether that was in or out.
I think we've already
done that.
We've talked
But it
about
was
whether
in,
it was in or
is
out.
what the final was. And for me, that was the first one that came to mind for moments of the year.
Kind of like, a bit of a precursor to that moment was the Toby de Cran greatest attempt in U24s in 2023, which I think was like one of the most culturally important tournaments of the post-pandemic era. Like, feel like it set up loads of the storylines of 2024 and beyond. And when I saw him make that play, I was like, wow, like someone really athletic soon is going to make a massive greatest and at a key moment, and it's going to be awesome. And I didn't really think it would come that soon. Getting it leaping as far as he did, putting it back inbounds, maybe just in time, maybe just out of time. And then my favorite bit, as I said before, getting straight back up, coming back for the goal, immediate score. Steph, it was one of the best games you've ever shown, and the Bold Beach Ultimate Club Championships exceeded expectations, and expectations were high. Anything else you have to say about that play, or I will give you another one?
No, let's keep moving. Give us your next one, No.
I am going to go to a bit of a non-ultimate moment, but I'm also going to go towards the end of the season. And for me, one of my moments of the season was EUCF lights out moment on semi-finals day.
Moon
that was
taking on Chak.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. If you don't remember, if you haven't seen the stream, that was produced by ULTI.TV and on Solid Sports on behalf of the EUF. We just had a few of the in the course of a few seconds, all of our floodlights just completely turned off. Power to the whole field complex was broken. Thankfully, we had just purchased, like, the first time we were using them this tournament was our power extension things, like UPS machines, which basically allow us to stream without power for a bit. They're a big battery that sits on our desk, and that means we could capture every moment. And just as we are running out the battery of that, the lights start going back on, and we start getting a bit more power in the venue. But that 20 minutes or so where we didn't have any power, like, phone lights were on throughout the stadium. Lolo had this massive torch, and we had the gimbal camera running around like the field and getting people to, like, emote to the camera and do crazy stuff. We got a bit of Lorcan doing some crazy dancing. I think he did some Russian dancing. But people really stuck around, and we managed to, like, finish out that game. But it was a super late night, so we were really, really tired by then. But that just brought so much energy into the end of the game. And that Moonshot game wasn't the most compelling game we showed this season, but that it was similar to the sewage moment, where it was a kind of big mistake, a big issue that brought people together and made for a really, really special moment, stuff.
Yeah, I loved it. I still remember walking out on the field, like, going over to Mooncatchers first, like, hey, what's going on? They're like, we don't know. Like, what do we do? And I was like, okay, hang on a second. I ran off and like found Nemo and Audie. I was like, hey, what do the players do? Like nobody knows what's going on. And then I came back out, like called the captains over. Audie kind of said, okay, we got a 20-minute watch on this from now. If the lights aren't on, then the game ends with the score as it is. And just as that conversation was ending was the same time those lights were coming on. I was like, okay, nothing to worry about. We're back soon. But I like it. I kind of forgot about that little moment, and it was an awesome moment.
It was a great UCF, and but that was just an awesome little nugget of entertainment, making it feel like a big game at the end of the day before finals. Steph, just give us the next moment. Next moment of
So it's not in order that I had them written down, but staying with EUCF, I think Groot Women is my next great moment. Like this team that just, there were some question marks. They like went to the final at Windmill and went to Universe Point, lost. They're obviously going to be good, a first-year program, but a break off of a great mixed team. The return to Ultimate of Aurora Leshnik, this step to dominance by Floor Coulart, but mostly absolute domination. Moon Cup, well done. You put on a show in the final, but still got beat by, I think, 3 or more. But good God, Groot Women were quarterfinal 15-1 over Troubles, who were a semifinalist last year, and were a very good team this year, had beaten Jinx earlier in the year. Like, that is just how good Groot were. They were dismantling anyone in front of them. And for me, that was like a moment of the year that like Groot taking EUCF by the limbs and ripping everything out of the ground. Like, it was a dominating performance by Groot Women, and one of my favorite moments of the year.
I totally understand why you put that on, Steph. Personally, not on my list, but I was very close to putting the Hrut Jinx final at Windmill on my list, because that was the closer game, and I feel like that was almost the start of like, oh, this Groot team's like really, really good. Like they're not just quarters, probably semis, maybe kind of level team. They're like they could win the tournament at EUCF, and by God, did they win the tournament? They were awesome. I think that it was almost a precursor to a bit of Rafi Hayes at US Club Nationals, where Big Ball is dead. Groot showed the Big Ball was dead as well. We saw Lesnick putting up the big shot to the likes of Dam, and yeah, I think that's going to change how the women's division is played out over the next few years, because I don't think Groot are going anywhere, Steph.
Oh no, I've got news about their tryouts, and they are not going anywhere. They are only getting stronger.
I've got a related
I will not
one
give
here.
all that news.
How many have you got left, Steph? I've got 2 left.
I should have 3 left. I thought we were going to do 5 each.
Yeah, but I also had the World Beach Open final.
Okay, so then I'm going to go right up. I'm going to pick up and do a second one in a row, because you just touched on it. Rhino final. Rhino in, I think they were getting disrespect. If you listen to what Dylan Freechild says, they wanted a bit more respect. They've been a team that can make semis, usually quarters over the last couple of years, but squeak in and should be getting considered. You look at that roster now and you look at what they did in hindsight, it's like, Jesus, how were they not considered? But that final that they put together to roll Pony with 2 turnovers in a national championship final was unheard of. I think in one of our episodes I was talking about Team USA, and I mentioned some Quinn Finers and some Rowans, and you were like, Steph, you didn't mention Rafi Hayes. He's the best player on the planet right now, and I'm a believer for sure now. And
Come on.
That Kalakovic highlight that just went out yesterday, the step behind, step around layout. Oh my God,
I saw that one. That was crazy.
So yeah, like
I don't think there's ever
Rhinos-
been anyone in the world better at a trailing edge grab than Rafi
Yeah,
Hayes. by the way.
Rhinos
Like,
run, but specifically their final is my moment. But go on, sorry.
no. Like, I'm just saying that Rafi Hayes, the amount of times I've seen him make disgusting grabs, and it's always some crazy trailing edge thing, making Benji Reeves very, very sad. But God damn, is he good at them? And I think that crowned him best player of the world. I've been saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. I think other people should start saying it, really.
I think you'd get a lot of bat packs for that one. I think there's a lot of support for Rafi Hayes for president right now. He is
not wrong, just early
kicking
Steph.
ass and taking names.
I'm going to talk about another badass, and I was almost going to bring it up before when we were talking Klut. And, you know, this moment didn't come in an important game at an important time, but a pure holy moment. The thing that was the most unbelievable that I saw with my own eyes this year was Aurora Lesnick's layout D at Tom's tournament.
I knew you were going to say Tom's.
I had two Tom. I
That was
almost
like the
put
first time you
Talos-
saw her playing live, I think, as
It was
well.
the first time I saw her playing live, and I was like Felix was saying, like, you're not ready for Aurora Lesnick. Like, she's different, and I was like, it's like she hasn't played for like 3-4 years. I'm not too bothered. And then like Felix like she's gonna do like the craziest layout that you've ever seen in your life, and she'll do that every game. And she does do it every game, but that one at Tom's, I think they were playing GB women, I think. Oh my god, she got so high, so around, like very, very, very little contact. And I think if the GB player had been a high jump pole, Aurora Lesnick would have cleaned it and landed perfectly on the canvas, no wobble on the bar. It was one of the craziest plays I've ever seen in my life. Definitely I think probably the craziest play I've seen in person. And yeah, I stand corrected. Aurora had a fantastic year, and she's going to continue to have many, many more.
Oh, yeah. Lesnick is for real. I mean, even just CFC, the layout she caught on my slop. I mean, it wasn't slop. I thought I had a nice throw, but I was like, have I overthrown her? And like, this was not a defensive layout, which she's probably a little bit more known for. But like, it was like almost shoulder high back of the end zone. Like she just, every time she steps on the field now, it's an expectation. That was the beginning, I think, that kicked the season off. This is, I mean, comeback player of the year. If she's not getting that, it must mean she's getting something else, because she really is the comeback player of the year. Like, she went from like, I'm taking a break for years to I'm taking over again.
And she totally took over. Steph, you've got 2 left then?
Yes.
You'd like to give me 1?
Yeah, so I will go with Women's Ultimate International Stage, Colombia versus USA. That battle that started in TP. They played power pools at Worlds, and then they played the final at Worlds. Oh, the Maurizio Moore response after the loss, the win in the first 2 battles for the Colombians, the, tidier top end of Colombia, the better top end of the Colombia line versus the whole roster use of USA, the USA change of tactics to finally figure them out. Like, it was a beautiful chess match. I loved what it did for Women's Ultimate. It made Women's Ultimate the best division at World Championships this year. By far, it was the most entertaining division to watch because of the top contenders. I love the athletes and the superstars that are in the spotlight there. I mean, the Cardenas twins are my favorite 2 players in the world. I think they are so awesome to watch. They're so different for twins. They do so many things differently, but they really shine, both their personalities and their playing styles. Claire Trope on the other side, a real grinder, a fighter. Angela Zhu, turns into a human missile playing defense. Like, I just loved the way that whole 3-game series played out and kind of what it did for Women's Ultimate amidst our a 3-division sport.
I think it was one of the best years ever for women's ultimate. Like, I just thought of another moment that I missed, and that was a women's ultimate moment. So many fantastic storylines. Steph, I didn't have it on my list, and that's just because I'm salty that the Colombians didn't win. It's like, that's the only thing.
As am I.
It was,
but I can't. It's like, as salty as I am, we didn't win CFC. It was still awesome, and I think
it was
in this
still
case,
awesome. Oh yeah, but like, you know, at CFC we were the villains, right? And like, so the goodies winning, okay, it kind of made the story good, but I just wanted the Colombians to win and complete the story, and they didn't, and it was just so heartbreaking. So if they won, 100% number one moment of the year. With them not winning, for me, it falls outside my personal top 5 moments, Steph. And Steph, I actually don't have an Australia moment. Not that I didn't have a fantastic time filming that tournament. I'm going to give you my final moment, and it's debatably a best moment, but one of the craziest moments for sure. I'm going to the World Juniors mixed bronze medal game. Steph, you weren't there for that.
I was not there. Oh, this is but there was no medal given out, was there?
No medal given out, and I am still petitioning WUFTF. Like, I want to know what happened to these medals, and I'm going to be pretty unhappy if they're not around the necks of the Singaporean players pretty soon, because they got robbed, Steph. This was a crazy moment. I don't think we've ever seen. Obviously, we think back to 2012 with the Canadians making some really, really dirty plays. But we've never seen a breakdown of spirit, the idea of trust between players in such a dramatic way in a big filmed game. So the game went on longer than any Ultimate game has ever gone on in the modern era. We were approaching 3 hours. Did it go over 3 hours?
I think it was just 3 hours was what I heard. I didn't actually put a clock on it, but like 3-hour game.
I mean, we got Tom Styles out of retirement. The game re-retired Tom Styles. Yeah. Almost did the same to Liam Grant. There was.
I actually have only watched bits and pieces. I could not watch the whole game. I was like, I've heard so much, and I was like, I kind of fast forward my way, and I was like, I hate this. I hate watching this. I hated seeing the Hungarian players like flexing off the crowd and like too smalling everybody. I was like, get these guys out of here. Get them the hell out of here. And yeah, you're right. The Singaporeans, where they were not angels, but they couldn't be angels when they're playing on the same field. There has to be some kind of reaction and reciprocity to be able to just like hold your ground in a game like that. It's
the same way that the Japanese weren't angels in the Canada-Japan game, right? Like, yeah, but they didn't step over the line of accept.
Yeah, they got pushed into the corner and had to swing their way out, and that's exactly what happened to Singapore.
So, Steph, I was very receptive to the argument that it wasn't the best moment of the year, and I don't know what your final moment is, but I think there was another World Juniors moment that was fantastic as well. Is it? Have you got
mine
that
is
one?
Not a World Juniors moment. Not even a European.
I'll talk very briefly about World Juniors and say that the final, if you haven't watched the French women versus the US women, I think one of our good friends, camera operators, Chips, was on the gimbal for that and filming the final moments as they won and came together and sung together with all their supporters. And Chips said it was one of the most emotional moments. She was crying, the most emotional moment she's ever had in an Ultimate field. And you know, I think there's been some heists of America. There's been some times where America doesn't show up, or when some team has a fantastic game. But that game was just the French being the better team, and players like, players like Camille Blanc, who we obviously got accustomed to at the World Beach Championships in 2023, Zoe Forget, Swan Lacoste Fevre, fantastic players across the board. There were 10, 12, 14 players for the French that were at or above the level of the average US player. And French Ultimate is going to be fantastic.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you're mentioning this to counter Singapore-Hungary, because this was, for me, the bigger story. But I I don't know which one got more press or more chat. It's true. Like, as good as France was to win that game and to like pull off the miracle, and it was miraculous, like hanging on to beat the USA in a championship that they've gone all in on is huge. And that tells you how huge that other game was too, because it got just the same amount of chat in,
I think that maybe
negative.
I think maybe that women's game was the bigger game of the year, but I think, Steph, more people are going to talk about that bronze medal game in the next 10. It depends, though. The narrative could flip if 2025 we go to the U24s and we see all of those French players ball out and they really put a good game to the Americans, and then that becomes a huge moment in history of the tides turning and another nation really step up to the plate to go back to back against the Americans.
Well, we will see. Time will tell about that. I have one remaining moment, Noah, and it is self-righteous a little bit, patting of the own back, but a project that I put a lot of effort into, and I thought it was a resounding success, going to Windmill and putting together the greatest team that's ever been assembled was what my goal was. And I still believe that I succeeded. We could only be tested by the teams that were at Windmill, and all of them fell to the Tokai super team. I thought, the team itself was well selected, great personalities. Emma Whitaker, big shout out to the woman behind the screen who put all the marketing together for it, all the reels, all the promos, all the everything. She was awesome. And then to have our own field, to be streamed, to be able to collaborate ULTI.TV and ULTI World when ULTI World won the rights to Windmill, but to be able to get a nice kind of collaborative media work around so that we could put a showcase like this on the right stage. I thought it garnered a lot of great attention. A lot of people watched, and a lot of people will be watching to see what happens next with Super Team. And all I'll say is the wheels are in motion. But again, a bit self-righteous of me to say, but I put so much into it, and I do believe that it was a great moment of the year. I thought a lot of people beyond just me got to appreciate another team that was constructed to be villains, to be the heel, to be like the 80s bad guy wrestler kind of mentality. And I think we did exactly that. And in the end, we won the crowd. They did kind of say, hey, these guys are superstars. They're not that bad. They're pretty fun and play a nice, sexy style of Ultimate. And that big shout out to Ine Lancrete, beyond all the players, a great coach behind it too. So a lot of fun. And Super Team is the last best of the year for me.
I think that the Super Team projects represented that players in Ultimate became superstars this year more than maybe any other year, and I think the scene's been crying out for something like Super Team since Next Gen and since Eurostars went. And Super Team could be not just the next big thing, but an even bigger thing, Steph. And I have to ask you a question, and maybe you're not going to be able to answer it, but the people want to know, Steph. Will there be Super Team 2025?
There's a lot of question marks swirling around right now, but there were a lot of question marks swirling around this time last year. And with a bit more certainty and a lot more conversation, I would hate to be any other mixed team in the world right now, because they're going to lose, because Super Team 2025 is coming at you, and we're not going to lose.
Well, folks.
And with
folks, yeah, let's wrap it up there, Steph. For Stefan Rapazzo, tell us in the comments, by the way, what superlative lists, best players, best tournaments, best games you want to see in the off season. We've got a bit of time to kill before we get back into the main season of Ultimate. Tell us what you want us to talk about here. And Steph, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next time.